Hey, thanks again for spending part of your day with us. We talked earlier about this. The Maricopa County Attorney's Office went through some turmoil for a while, but Rachel Mitchell, it appears, has righted the ship and is working well with law enforcement. It's a relationship that is so important. I've talked about police staffing and shortages in policing, and I don't ever want to ignore the importance of having a fully staffed prosecutor's office. Now, you need to have defense attorneys, so, I guess it includes public defenders, and all of that has to be... that system has to work together, but you have to have enough lawyers to prosecute cases. If you don't, it's just like policing. Policing, they have to prioritize. Now, obviously, the number one job of a police agency is patrol. When you call 911, you expect someone to show up in a timely manner and answer your call for help. That's the number one priority. Beyond that, to have investigative units that are specializing in certain crimes, all of that is true. All of that's necessary. You have to have all of these different areas. But the primary role is patrol. When you look at a prosecutor's office, they have to prioritize if they are understaffed. At some point, you prioritize on a couple of things: seriousness of the charge of the case and likelihood of victory. And no one should have to endure that. If you have a crime perpetrated against you, if somebody wrongs you, as somebody physically attacks you, and you call the police instead of taking the law into your own hands, you want to make sure that the person that attacked you is brought to justice. To find out that they can't prosecute the case because they don't know if they're going to get a victory, because they don't have the people to do the investigative work to make sure, the legwork to make sure your case is successful, or they've got other serious crimes, and they have to explain. I don't know if they ever would do this explanation, but in their mind, okay, we have somebody that got punched at a party versus somebody that got shot in the back of the head at a party. Well, which one, if we're going to direct resources? You don't want to have to make that choice. They are going after organized retail theft. It's not a violent crime necessarily. I guess it could become one. But it's a property crime, and it is very serious because we've seen the videos of the thousands and thousands of dollars of property that's been stolen in moments with these smash and grabs and organized retail theft. There's a woman from California who came to Arizona and in a 48-hour period stole almost $30,000 worth of merchandise, makeup and merchandise. You and I pay for that because the retailers have to put that into the cost of doing business. Loss prevention is what they call it in the industry, and they hire people that are loss prevention specialists to watch and make sure people are not shoplifting. This is different than your average shoplifting. These are people that are going out and going shopping knowing that they're going to steal this property and then resell it. This is how they make a living, and it's organized, and it becomes very big. Well, Rachel Mitchell has said, we're putting an end to this. We are going to charge you. We are going to make sure that you pay a heavy price if you do this in Maricopa County. On Wednesday, they held a press conference, and they talked about this specifically. She said Phoenix police arrested a woman accused of stealing, I think it was $28,000, but the story says nearly $30,000 worth of goods from a beauty shop within 48 hours. The police posted security cam footage. If you follow me on Instagram, I believe it was in my story. It might still be there, maybe not. They identified the suspect as being from California. And Rachel Mitchell, the county attorney, said, I'm sure Ms. Deneau thought she was returning to California after 48 hours, but as I said, she is in on a $45,000 bond. The word gets out. It is about risk and reward for everyone, including people that commit crimes like this. If the reward isn't worth the risk, they'll do something else. I don't even know if they still sell them, but you used to be able to buy something for your car called a club, and it went onto your steering wheel, and you couldn't steal the car because you couldn't turn the wheel while the club was in place. Now, they could be cut off with a hacksaw. There are ways to get past them. Nothing was foolproof. But you had a club on your car, not believing it was going to prevent anybody from stealing your car necessarily. What it did is it made your car more difficult to steal than somebody else's car. That may sound harsh, but, people have burglar alarms in their homes. They put these security screens on their windows and doors. And they do this to say to thieves, it's not worth trying to do this here. Go somewhere else. And the idea, loss prevention specialists are, say, don't come into this store. The chances are we're going to catch you. What Rachel Mitchell is saying through her office is telling the criminal element it's not worth it, because when you get caught in Maricopa County, we are going to punish you to the fullest extent of the law. We are not going to drop the charges. We are not going to reduce the charges. We are going to make sure that you are punished. That word gets out. That doesn't mean it prevents it from happening, but there will be people that will say it's not worth going from LA or San Diego. It's not worth going to Arizona to do this. Let's not go into Maricopa County, because if we get caught, the price is very, very high. To give you an example, there was a couple of guys in Colorado that had robbed a Kohl's store, stolen from a Kohl's store. They wanted their charges reduced because they stole stuff that was on sale. To me, that's a perfect example of the kind of system, if they were to get their charges reduced, that's the kind of system that doesn't punish. It is, if you are a retailer, if you are someone that is spending the kind of money you have to spend to keep a business running right now, pay your taxes, keep the lights on, pay your employees, and somebody steals from you, and then they don't get punished, you are victimized twice. There's no doubt about that. We have got to make sure that the people that prosecute cases in our communities have everything they need to do their jobs very well. We've got to fund the prosecutors' offices like we want to fund the police departments. They have to be fully funded to fully function. And then you have to have people in positions of power, the policymakers in the police department, to aggressively pursue criminals, and in the prosecutors' offices to aggressively prosecute those cases. That's when the system begins to work right. Then you need judges that are going to put people in jail.
Thanks for watching the Mike Broomhead Show. Tap to watch the first season of Amazing Arizonans, a KTAR News podcast. You can also click the button in the middle to subscribe.